is J-Town on the other side of the river. Clarksville's right on the edge. If you live around Louisville, if your mailing address says Louisville, you are included in the severe thunderstorm warning, and it's a leveled up warning.
It is.
70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, tornado possible on this storm. So let's go ahead. Here you've got the New Albany camera. So this is in New Albany.
Wow.
Bryce, which way is this pointing? Which direction do you look at this?
That's pointing west. The New Albany's camera.
So that's looking towards the Sherman Mitten?
I think so.
Wow.
You can't see anything.
And then I've got the downtown camera
Wow.
pointing
Yep,
south.
it is. Okay, let's take downtown Louisville and see what we can see there. We also have the camera in Floyd's Knobs is showing tons of lightning here as well. We've got all kinds of pictures coming in here. We also have, I pitched this, I started this process here because there's a traffic camera.
Okay, look on the left there. Look on the left. So that's downtown.
That's from the
There's
800
the
building
lowering. You
looking
can
south.
see the shelf on the bottom left. That's what I'm concerned about here in Louisville. If we could, let's take that Louisville camera full. That's concerning. Hannah, that is concerning. That's that area of rotation I've been talking about. You can actually see the updraft base there on the left carved out, Hannah. That is very impressive.
That is so impressive. So I want to show you, not everybody's a weather nerd like we are. What are we talking about here? So the lightning, first of all. The guys are moving in a camera, zooming in a little bit. What I want to draw your attention to, anything that looks like a sharp line in nature, that's not right. So clearly this part of the storm is lower than this part of the storm. When we talk about lowering, this is part of the storm that has come down. It's closer to you. This is where tornadoes come from. The wall cloud lowers, it rotates. This is the part of the storm that will produce a tornado if any of it does.
Look
you can
at that.
also
There's
see
even a
rain
little,
falling out of it. What, Mark?
which is on the left there.
Yeah,
Look
it's
on
a
the left.
little
Appendage.
out of it,
Right on the edge of that wall cloud, Hannah.
Yep.
There may be a little bit of appendage there starting to.
This part right here.
Yes. Yes.
Yep. This is where, I don't want to sound the alarm too early, but this is how tornadoes form. You get a little part that extends out of this wall cloud, this lowering.
Yes.
This is where you
And
see
that's
things
coming
start
down
to
a little
develop.
bit too.
It is. The whole thing is coming down. This, you're watching in real time, essentially a funnel being produced from the storm.
Yes, that we need to watch really, really closely. I'm going to move over to the weather wall real quickly as a storm chaser. So just so you understand how this works, again, when we get rotation within a thunderstorm, the thunderstorm will generally start to lower the base. And so what you're looking at right here is the base lowering within that thunderstorm. This is actually the wall cloud. Now, if you watch when Hannah was pointing right here, we had a little bit of a funnel that was starting to drop down. We don't see that funnel now. So that is at least a little bit of a good sign. But the Weather Service is very justified and right in going severe thunderstorm with tornado possible, because these storms can and do produce tornadoes with little to no notice. Watching again here, right on that edge, we have seen little appendages starting to dive out there. And I would like to zoom out just a pinch here to see that. Basically, I'm trying to look underneath that to see if there's anything that we have in contact with the ground. As we look, I mean, obviously the camera's starting to shake as we're now getting the 60+ mile-an-hour winds moving into Louisville.
Yeah.
This is something we need to be
Mark,
aware of.
There it goes.
Yeah, it's
Another
starting
little-
to
That
do it
same corner has that
Yeah,
same
there it is. So
appendage.
now you can see the appendage coming back again. So right there on the edge of it, you can see that funnel forming again. Remember, I want to be 100% clear. I'm not telling you that a tornado is touching down. I am not. I am telling you that the wording tornado possible is fully justified by the National Weather Service. You can see right on the edge of that little funnel that's trying to drop off the edge of that lowering, which is the wall cloud. And now you can see the camera shaking very, very violently. I would like to also look back to the analyst. I want to look at velocity, and I want to look at if we're seeing any debris being lofted near Louisville, because we really need to be very careful now with this in Metro. If we could, guys, let's two-box with this, because I want to make sure if we're seeing any power flashes, we can catch those. But Bryce, you have a little bit of information here to update us on?
We've got a traffic camera from, I think they said 65 with the Snyder, if we could pull that up there.
And let's keep this two-boxed if we could with radar, and that way we can kind of make sure that we've got both views simultaneously.
Yeah, and that's kind of
Oh
the area
my
that we're
goodness.
watching there on the top left of your screen.
Okay.
So that's a 65 at Snyder, is that right?
Yes.
Rod?
65 at Gene Snyder. Okay, so this is, yes. So you're basically looking towards Bullitt County in that particular image. And then you can see now we're starting to get polluted in our downtown camera because we have heavy rain that's ongoing. So ultimately, if we're continuing with traffic cams, guys, I want to be thinking about Preston, if there's a view looking south on that on the Gene Snyder, and then ultimately I want to be looking towards, let's say around Bardstown Road, and Gene Snyder, so we can continue to keep an eye on what is going on. I want to now take a look radar here, if we could, for a moment, because I think it's important that we analyze what's occurring right now in Metro Louisville as we've got storms moving in. If we could take that full, and I want to get punched at the wall so I can kind of show what's going on here. So one of the things we're going to look at, I'm going to start here in the 2 box. This is your normal reflectivity. This is what you look at on radar every single day. So when we look at this side, you're like, Mark, everything's pink. Well, it should be. It's raining. So what we would look for is a blue hole if there was a tornado forming. There is nothing that shows tornado touchdown or anything like that in Louisville right now. It's just really important. I want to be clear on that. But we've seen interesting appendages on that wall cloud at times in the metro area, Bryce.
So with our talks from the National Weather Service and the emergency
strike here.
Yep.
Are we still on air, guys? We just took a power hit here at the station. Oh. Okay, so we just took a power hit at the station. On air, I think you guys can still hear my voice, but we took a power hit at the station. So what we're doing here is making sure that we can reboot and get everything back up. But in our studio, we saw a big flash here. Some of our systems at least went down. That's why you're seeing black, but you're still hearing our voice. On air, Richard, are they able to see, or what are people seeing at home? Is it black? No video. Okay, so we still have audio as we're trying to get things rehashed here. Bryce, back to you on that information that you've seen.
Yeah.
What's the Weather Service talking about?
So from the Hardin County Emergency Management Office, they called to report baseball-sized hail within the past 5 minutes.
Where?
Near the Radcliffe area.
Baseballs in Radcliffe.
At 313 in Rogersville Road. Ambulance had to stop because of the hail.
Okay, so we have baseballs now in Radcliffe. Baseballs in Radcliffe. We have near 70-mile-an-hour winds that are moving along the Gene Snyder. Again, I just want to let you guys know, we are aware that we've got the black on the screen right now. What we're doing is, since we took a power hit at the station, we got a lightning strike very close to the station. We're continuing to get things back up so that you guys can see what's ongoing right now. And just so Hannah and Bryce know, my guess is that when the power hit occurred, likely what that did is it knocked out our internet. So if it knocked out our internet, then that ultimately could mean that our data is a little bit slower. And we know that our power, our switcher, which on TV allows us to basically punch the graphics onto TV, is in a reboot mode after taking a power hit. We have numerous severe thunderstorm warnings, again, including the Louisville area, south. The reason you're seeing black, Hannah, is we took a power hit. You've been in working in this business for many years as well.
We're safe. I want to be clear about that.
Yeah, that's
we
important
are safe
to know.
here. People are going to wonder about that. I also want to tell you guys, if you've got a weather radar app on your phone, your WDRB weather app has that. If you've got a different weather app on your phone, open that up now, because that radar still works, and we can still see our radar here in the building. We just can't show it to you in this moment, so we are watching it closely. We are watching it closely here in the studio. There's strong wind. There's hail that's growing larger. We just told you about baseball-sized hail. I think that was in Radcliffe, Bryce. Mm-hmm. So we have active ongoing threats, plus tornado warnings that we've been talking about most of the evening. This is an ongoing, evolving situation. Take this moment to open a weather app on your phone for the couple of minutes that we're showing you black screen. And I think we just got a new tornado warning. Again,
so multiple tornado warnings now issued here.
That's for a couple of counties.
Yeah, that's further off to the south. Tornado warning was just issued right now. This one is going to be for a bunch of counties: Greene, Hart, LaRue, Marion, and Nelson counties. New tornado warning just issued for a number of counties in our southern parts of our area. The issue remains is it is a rotation fest along this line. We've got an area rotation that is near the Mathers Hill Mills area, one that is to the west of Maxine, one that's near the Wabash area. All of these areas are seeing rotation. All of these areas are seeing rotation. So we need to be really careful as we continue here with new tornado warnings that are being issued. New tornado warnings continue to get issued along this line. Tornado warning in effect here in our southern counties. Tornado warning in effect in our southern counties. This one for LaRue, Marion, Nelson, and Washington County. Also 1-inch size hail. What we're trying to do here behind the scenes here is make sure we get our systems up and working. Hannah, one of the things I just want to make sure on radar, since we took that hit, is when our last scan came in, because this is super important to note. that these storms, because we took that power hit, could have moved ahead.
Yeah, this one looks like it's updating, and I'm being told
Okay,
that you
that's
guys can
excellent.
see this particular computer that we're
Yeah.
working from. We in the studio cannot see that you are seeing that, so we're relying on our guys here, our camera operators, floor directors, to help us understand what you're seeing at home. So you can see, in theory, this tornado warning that was just issued. This is the new warning, an ongoing threat of tornadoes, plus that large hail that we just talked about. That report came in from Radcliffe. This is a little bit farther south of there, but an ongoing tornado warning. So let's go ahead and jump back to normal. We're going to interrogate this storm. We're going to settle into this new normal here this evening.
And just so I understand here, the computer that Hannah's on is the only one we have to air, right? Okay.
This one is the one going
Okay,
out
perfect.
on air. Yep.
Perfect. Okay.
Yep. So here we go. This is the new tornado warning. Again, we just told you where that is. So let's look at what's going on. Even on the velocity this far away from the radar, you can clearly see that something has gone wrong. Something is different here. The bright greens followed by red, followed by more green. So this is an area where we are seeing rotation. It's just north. I'm looking at Mark's computer and my computer at the same time. Just north of Magnolia,
Yes.
we're seeing some of that. And so that makes me think that this might be a scan behind. My computer is
Well,
scan behind yours.
I'll tell you what is super concerning right now. Beyond the tornado warning, if you're in Mount Washington, if you're in the southern part of Jefferson County, Glen Mary, you really, really, really need to be careful, guys. You really need to be careful. These gates are extremely strong right now. We're looking at 71 knot gates showing up 800 feet above the ground just to the east of Shepherdsville. This is really concerning, and this is the kind of wind that can do damage, Bryce, and I hate to say it, we're seeing it.
Yeah, we just got a storm report out of Breckenridge County, about 2 miles away west-northwest of Constantine. Emergency manager reports a roof blown off a home south of Custer. That was the time estimated by radar, around 7:42. So about 30 minutes ago, or 40 minutes ago. So again, that's emergency management, and Breckenridge County reports roof blown off a home south of Custer.
And let me be clear, guys. These are extremely strong winds right now moving along the Gene Snyder. Looking at radar, and I'm analyzing each individual gate that I'm looking at, I have 71.9, which is around knots, which is closing in on 77 miles an hour at 1,000 feet above the ground. That one is now along the Gene Snyder. This is about to hit just outside of the Gene Snyder on Bardstown Road. Another area is about to head into Mount Washington. I've got 73.8 knots, which is around 80 miles an hour, 1,000 feet above the ground. So ground level, that's probably going to be near 70. And then I've got another area that's about to cross Bardstown Road. That's going to be near where Bullitt County interacts with Spencer and Nelson County. And those gates there I'm seeing are peaking at around 71 knots, which is 77 miles an hour. So, Hannah, this is not only tornado concern. There are multiple issues and concerns that we're looking at in our area with widespread severe weather occurring in our area and in Metro.
And in Metro, I want to redirect us back to the Louisville Metro, where we are seeing the strongest wind of the night move through right now. If you live on the east end, J-Town, St. Matthews, Middletown, Linden, up toward Oldham County, we're starting to see the strongest wind gusts of the night in those communities. You've not experienced anything like this tonight. This is the strongest wind. It's coming along with the heaviest rain. You're hearing thunder. You're seeing those lightning flashes. That's what's moving into the east end of Louisville right now. And as we go farther south, remember, we still have an ongoing tornado warning that does include Bardstown. You can see it reflected right here, that bright red color on your screen. We also have hail inside of this storm. That's worth mentioning as well. And Bryce, you've been watching what the Weather Service is sharing with us. Looks like a wind report there.
Yeah, just got about a 53 knot wind gust report. That is at the Louisville Airport.
Okay, so 53, just doing my quick math here, would come in at 61 miles an hour, just measured in Louisville. Here's the concerning part. That's further north than where we're seeing the strongest winds within the storm. I think it's safe to say, if you're along Bardstown Road right now, we need to really be concerned of 70, 75s right now. This is a real concern outside of the Gene Snyder along Bardstown Road that we are seeing near 70-mile-per-hour winds. So there are multiple concerns here evolving across our area. I'm going to go down to the tornado warning here real quickly. Everything is rotating along that tornado warning. Everything. Just got a new scan in here. Okay, that may look a little bit better on the western edge. The area of rotation that I would be most concerned about is approaching the Stiles area. That's where you need to be in your tornado safe location. right near Stiles. That ultimately would be heading towards around south of Howardstown, and then downstream Loretto. We need to be considering what to do here. This is, you know, the thing that really concerns me right now, it's not necessarily if new tornado warning for Louisville, new tornado warning just issued for Louisville. This is that area. Guys, if you are near Bardstown Road here in Louisville, if you're near Bardstown Road, just outside of the Gene Snyder, this is going to be near Glen Mary. We have got to take this very, very seriously. Hannah, you're looking at the analyst right now. You see nearly 90-mile-an-hour winds on that analyst, and maybe 95.
95.
Are you seeing debris in that area? We really need to get in on that one really closely. I'm going to come over to the analyst with you. Do you see anything that concerns you in terms of debris in Louisville that would scream we have a tornado? I think that we could get one very quickly in this area.
I think we could get one very quickly, so I'm going to keep an eye on it. But at this point, Mark, no, I don't see that debris. So I just put a marker on the reflectivity, which is on the right-hand side of your screen, right where we're seeing that rotation. And you can see that same marker reflected on the left-hand side where we would see debris. And listen, I know that there's a lot of blue and green here, and we tell you to look for that blue spot, but it needs to be a small circle that shows a defined area of lowering in that correlation. This is just radar scattering. We usually call it radar debris, but that's not effective here. So all of that to say, I don't see it yet, but at any scan, I expect that could come up. So we're going to watch that very closely. And you guys can see how much this is wrapped in on itself, this rotation. That's alarming. And at the speeds we're talking about, Mark, I'll be honest, I grew up in Alabama, and then I lived in Mississippi. I've not seen speeds like this in a really long time.
Not in Metro. I mean, we don't, this is seriously concerning. And here's my best case scenario. My best case scenario is in the southern side of Louisville right now, 80-plus mile-an-hour winds could be occurring. And I honestly think that at least 70. That's my best case scenario. So the areas we really need to be concerned about, and I want to do a wider track on this because there is such a large area of extremely strong winds. I'm going to need to actually take this out a little bit wider because these have been moving so quickly. But the speed on this, I assume, Hannah's,
uh-oh. 55.
The new update,
this is not good. So we've got Fern Creek, it's on top of you, Simpsonville 19 minutes from now, and Shelbyville 29 minutes from now. Hannah, there is a very distinct area hook on that right now.
Not good.
Is that may be a debris signature. Can we check that real quickly on correlation coefficient? Very, very concerned, guys, in the around Billtown Road right now that a tornado could be forming right along Billtown Road along the Gene Snyder. You've got to be in your safe location right now. If you're near Billtown Road, this rotation is significant. At best case scenario, I think we've got 80-mile-an-hour winds occurring there. Best case scenario, and this is crossing Billtown Road right now, it'll eventually go towards outside of the Gene Snyder near the Taylorsville Road area. Hannah, still, as I look at radar there and we view that correlation coefficient, I don't see something that says confirmed tornado right now, but I am just worried. There's a lot of at least nothing less debris getting blown around, which may be straight line winds. But it's there.
It is there. So I agree. I want to see the next scan. We just talked about that. Bryce, you got an update?
Okay, so we have a 72-mile-per-hour wind gust at the National Weather Service in South Louisville. That's near the Smyrna exit of the Gene Snyder.
Yeah, that's exactly
and then the National Weather Service is discussing a possible TDS on radar in southeastern Jefferson County.
That's what we're talking about right now. So the Weather Service is watching exactly what we are watching right now. That's alarming. We want to keep a very close eye on that. I also want to flip this back over to reflectivity and velocity at the same time and walk it back one scan. So this is just one previous scan. A couple of moments ago, they did it. They went TDS.
Okay, guys, we got a tornado confirmed now in Louisville. Weather Service has moved over to tornado confirmed. Let me again be very clear. We have a tornado on the ground now confirmed by radar. It's observed on the warning here. 55 miles an hour. It's moving towards the northeast at 55. Latest information from the Weather Service on this. Let me be clear. A tornado, a damaging tornado, is occurring in Louisville. A damaging tornado just moved over Bardstown Road, just outside of the Gene Snyder by 1 mile. It's about to move over Billtown Road, about 1 mile outside of the Gene Snyder. Ultimately, it'll go towards Taylorsville Road, 2 miles outside. A tornado confirmed now in Louisville, doing damage. We have a tornado confirmed in Louisville.
And I put this track on, well, that's a camera view. Let's go back one image here. So to get you the full track, because the storm is moving so fast, I know it's a little bit wider than you would like. I'll zoom in just a moment. The storm is moving to the northeast. A confirmed tornado that is doing damage is moving to the northeast at 55 miles an hour around the Louisville Metro. In Fisherville, you have about 5 minutes until that gets to your
Yes.
house. It is time to be in your safe place now. That's as many walls between you and the outside as you can, in the lowest level of your home. And you've got about 10 minutes if you're in the long run community. Simpsonville, this is close to you in about 15 minutes. And Todd's Point, you're still about 15 to 20 minutes away from you. I want to zoom in a little bit closer after we take this track away to show you exactly what is going on here. This is some of the strongest. Well, is that
So
right?
then that's a warnings, just so we're clear. There's two different areas, and this is the problem. Hannah, we identified that area that was coming along southern Jefferson County,
Right.
but let's not just focus only on that area. The problem is that we're on the northern side of what's a Boeing segment.
Right.
Being on the northern side of that Boeing segment means that you're going to get rotation virtually everywhere. Weather Service is clearly aware of this, and they're going with tornado warnings now just north of Taylorsville by about 2 miles rather, north of Taylorsville. But a confirmed tornado right now will be going along the Gene Snyder. If you have any friends that are out driving right now, they have got to get off the road if they're near the Gene Snyder, and we need to be very, very serious about I-64. This would be as we cross the Jefferson and Shelby County line. We have a confirmed tornado on the ground right now, observed, and then one that's just north of the Taylorsville area. It looks like we have now gotten some of our switcher back up. If we could, in my ear, guys, let me know when we can go back to the weather wall here.
Bryce, what are you seeing?
We're looking
Tell
at
us what you're
the
seeing.
Simpsonville Tower Cam. So we have a tower cam at the Uville Golf Course in
Okay.
Simpsonville. It's getting dark, obviously, so it's hard to see. But with the flashes of lightning, there is significant lowering when the lightning kind of backlights the skyline once again.
We know it's dark. Give it a second.
So
This is
let's
where-
stay, if we could, with both. If we could, with the Simpsonville camera, so we can keep that hot in the corner. And let's go with radar on one side here. Hannah, I want to, if we could, track now. Again, remember, we took a power hit earlier. So what we have done is tried to get our switcher back up and working. Huge credit to our engineers and everybody at the
Absolutely.
station and production for going through this and getting out the other side here. Fisherville, 2 minutes from now. I need you in your safe spot, Fisherville. Downstairs, underneath something. I need you in the center part of your house, and I need you to keep away from windows. We have a confirmed tornado on the ground, and these are important things to note here. Taylorsville, 3 minutes from now, a potential tornado. If you live in Taylorsville, get into the center of the house. If you're like, Mark, I don't have a basement. What am I going to do? Get in the center of the house. I have been surveying tornadoes now for close to 20 years. I'm a forensic meteorologist that went out many times and surveyed damage, and I can tell you that one of the things we always see is the interior part of your home will almost always withstand even potential for tornado. Right over Fisherville right now, you've got to be in your tornado safe location. This could be a tornado occurring right now, heading towards the Simpsonville area. Hannah, what do you have for us?
So the Weather Service they relay reports for us, Mark. So this, you got to take it with a grain of salt. But this is a report of a tornado in the J-Town area a couple of minutes ago from an EMS worker. All right.
And it makes sense. I mean, it's exactly where we're seeing that rotation, Hannah. I believe it. I really do. And so in Fisherville right now, you've got to be in your safe spot. I can't emphasize this enough. I don't say this all the time. I don't try to, when the time comes, we need to tell you it's more serious. I don't want you to think that we're talking about this tornado warning. We get